Okay, so today we are going to work on a little calf mobility. So before we work on this, we're just going to use a foam roller and we're going to go through some stretches. And so before we get started on any kind of rolling, it's important to know that your calf actually starts from all the way up here behind the knee. It inserts back here and it originates back here and it inserts all the way here in the arch of the foot. So it actually wraps around the heel and inserts here, and that's what allows you to extend your foot. Okay, so this is super important to know because that informs how far you need to go in mobilizing these tissues. And so what we're going to do first is we are going to get on the foam roller, get as dense of a foam roller as you can tolerate or that you have access to, and we're going to work all the way up and down this. And so where we're going to start is we're going to start just here in the meat of this Achilles tendon here. Okay, and what we're going to do is it's just above the ankle, and you're just going to start by rotating here. Okay, by going back and forth and even just like sliding it back and forth, this allows you to get those tissues interacting and sliding the way they need to. A lot of people just kind of roll up and down. That's good for smashing, but to actually get these tissues to really be pulling apart and being able to improve that relationship there, you need to be doing this kind of rotation. This gets every angle around that calf and helps you find the spots that you really need to focus on. It's totally fine to do some global kind of rolling here. Totally fine. Notice how I'm rotating my foot, kind of twisting my foot back and forth to find which spot I need to focus on. But what I really want to do is I want to be doing this kind of rotation here. And if you want some extra pressure, you got a nice log that you can put right on top of there. And so you're going to be kind of rotating back and forth, slide that back and forth there, and you're just gradually working your way up. And set a clock for about 4 minutes to work on this for 4 minutes, going all the way up and down your calf. Okay, and as you get into like right at the base of where that muscle starts here, where the tendon comes into the muscle here, you might notice just like I'm feeling a little bit right there right now today, and know that I need to work on these, especially if you're doing a lot of squatting or a lot of jumping. Especially if in your squat you tend to come up on your toes, that puts a lot more strain on your calf to stabilize. If you're struggling to keep that sort of mid-foot pressure, and so this is going to be really important to stay because these muscles take a ton of stress, so much throughout every day. I mean, you're using it all the time. If you imagine how many steps you take in a day. If you're taking 10,000 steps a day, that's like engaging that calf all day long. And you are also, every time you stand, this is a stabilizer muscle. There's two different parts of your calf. There's an inner and an outer part. The inner part is more for the stabilization, just keeping yourself stable, and the outer part of your calf is more for the actual exercise of actually contracting and moving your foot ankle. And so if we can loosen up this calf, this can actually help relieve some posterior or the back of your knee pain if you're having any of that. It can also loosen up some ankle stiffness and immobility you have there, which really affects your ability to squat, jump, run, everything. And you can even help relieve any sort of pain in your arches you might be having. And so I'm just kind of working my way up here gradually. I'm not in any hurry. You know, you got that 4 minutes on a clock, and if you're feeling good, you can even go past that if you want to. There's no rush here, and I'm just kind of continuing to glide back and forth all the way up and down. And you might notice there's some spots that are a little bit more sensitive than the others. Okay, so we're going through this whole thing, and you got to go across the back of the knee. Okay, and you got to go all the way to the base of what feels like your hamstring, but this is actually the very top of your calf, where your calf is originating. Okay, you got to hit that spot as well. You might notice that one side is a little bit more sensitive than the other, especially as you turn to the outside here, a little bit, the outer part there. So go up and down as much as you need to. Okay, and if you need to get a little deeper on this, you can even do this with a barbell and get super deep on this. Okay, but Now that we've kind of loosened up that whole area, you can go up and down a couple times as you work through that to help loosen up and get the tissues a little bit warm. Okay, now we're actually going to work on some stretching a little bit. So I want to start by kind of getting in this position here. I want to work on this mobility here a little bit. I want to work on getting that active, see if I can get a little bit of more motion in that. And you want kind of like constant motion here, okay? You can hold it and take a couple of breaths through your nose. The more you can slow your breath down, the better your body's able to relax. Then as you get through that, you kind of go on like 2 minutes per stretch, but you can also relax this back foot, and I'm going to have my toes flat here, and I'm going to relax into this and kind of put all that pressure on this leg to stretch out my arch through my Achilles here by stretching my toes and getting my foot into full flexion here. This is gonna feel really good, stretching those toes out, and everything's gonna help release the ankle a little bit more. So working on this stretch, holding that for 2 minutes, and then you can even get into a kind of a downward dog stretch here, where you're going to be kind of working through this, pushing that down, and keep your toes active. If you get your toes putting up in the air, then it's not going to be able to get the same kind of stretch. So keep your toes active in this to be working through getting that calf a little bit more stretched out and mobilizing there. So those are a few stretches you can go through, and then you can get the front. You can kind of counter that a little bit, get on this kneeling position. If you want to get a little bit deeper, you can actually put just one side down. And if you can tolerate it, you can gradually lift the knee to get more of a stretch on the front side of the ankle all the way through the top of the toes, on the top of the foot there. This is a few stretches you can go through. This a nice 10 minutes you can spend rolling and mobilizing your calf and your ankle. This is going to be great to help mobilize this entire area from the back of your knee all the way down through your ankle, your Achilles, and everything around this ankle that's helping stabilize that and keep it moving. So enjoy.